listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina.
Hello.
This is a podcast that looks at some of your favorite cult films as an alcoholic beverage. It shows it someone who's never seen it.
Me for both this time. Well, not this time.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's still.
And then we talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
Except this week, it's a cult meeting that we actually had after shooting next week's episode. So it's...
We already know what happens.
We already know what happens in next week's episode. But you don't, so you have to wait.
Yeah, you have to see it.
We have knowledge that you do not have. And we have a special guest for next week, too, we'll get to announce, too. I'm all excited. I'm your Native American Pop Culture Spirit Guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by...
Justina, your jellicle jester.
She who knows no movies.
Admiral.
And producer number 2.
Hey, everybody.
Who does number 2 work for?
You guys.
Stephanie is in Idaho.
Well done.
I almost said Iowa again.
Again, yes, you did.
I don't know why, but she's with her son who's in the Air Force Base. At an Air Force Base. He's in the Air Force. He's at an Air Force Base in Idaho.
And she's seeing snow.
And she's seeing snow right now. And my first question was, why are there Air Force bases in Idaho? And then she's like, oh, yeah, there's lots of airspace and missile defense stuff. And you got
I don't think I realized that.
I didn't either. That's why I asked. And so thank you, Jack, for your service and keeping missiles from hitting us here in Mobile or whatever that you do. I'm not sure what you do.
Keeping Idaho safe.
Keeping the potatoes safe. I told her to bring me back a present. I hope it is a potato.
Especially after D&D. Especially after watching D&D.
Yeah, after watching D&D, potatoes are really big in Dungeons & Dragons.
I have not seen that.
It's fun. It is fun. That was last week's movie. So everyone's caught up with it. You can probably listen to us on a podcast app right now, so please give us a like and a subscribe. If you're not, you can like and subscribe us on any fine podcast app.
Or unfine.
Whichever of your choice. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Cult Movie Cantina. You can watch our smiling faces on youtube.com/Mopcast Network. And we're on TikTok at Mopcast. I think I got through it all, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's everything.
I haven't seen you in a month. What's up with you? Oh, I actually do have a question.
Yeah.
So some weeks back, actually some months back, and like 8 months probably, and we've done one update, but I need another update.
Are we going to talk about the lesbians?
Yes.
I knew you were going to ask about them.
Because I want to know if you've met the lesbian couple down.
No, not yet. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think now it should become a rivalry.
It kind of feels like I know that they know we're there because they walk their dogs, and there was not long ago.
I was going to be
about a week or two
inappropriate.
ago.
I was going like, they know we're there. I'm like, because of Gaydar?
Possibly. We did for a while have a flag. As you know, it
Right.
got destroyed. And then when I
Because
put
people are savages.
the next flag up, I guess when they had pulled to like rip it, it became loose in its holder.
Right.
So after this was a while ago, it hasn't been up for a while, we had a bad storm around then, and it actually fell out of the house. So I just took it down. I was like, I'm over it. I don't care anymore. I've never really been the person that's like, I want to have a flag. But my wife had a flag, so we had a flag. The flag is gone. It's fine. Anyway, so we had one and they had one, and they're both down now. Because theirs also, I assume, got damaged the same day because that's when theirs came down. And they walked their dogs, and they're walking up the road like 2 weeks ago, not even that long ago, at the most 2 weeks ago. And we were both outside doing yard work. So they saw us. Like, they know that it's two women. I mean, I guess they could assume that, unless you're not paying attention, there were a lot of signs.
Maybe you don't show up on their Gaydar.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't. They might be really bad at it. Although one of them has like the shaved head with the ponytail, you know, like looking super gay. So I'm just saying, like, I got Jennifer, and I love her.
I didn't mean to laugh as hard as I did.
But
at
if
that.
you see her, you know that she's gay. You just do. So it's like,
no argument for me.
we like board games. What do y'all like? Like, we could do a movie night. I don't know. Let's hang out. Seltzers.
Play some Settlers of Catan.
We have that. We can do that. Munchkin. I don't know. Ticket to Ride. Let's
Oregon
go.
Trail.
Oregon
We don't
Trail.
have that, unfortunately. You know.
That's a preview for next week.
It is. So, no, we haven't. But I've seen them a couple of times, and I know that they know. Like, we both know, but it's almost like neither of us are the people that are like, hi, neighbor.
Yeah, I was about to. That was actually.
So we're both the same type of people.
Because that was actually going to be my next
so
question.
great.
Because that was going to be my next question: is when do you have to make the first move?
I don't know, but I don't like it. I should have gone over and knocked on the door and been like, I saw your flag was down. did you guys happen to see who did it? Yeah, we're just down the road is what I should have done. But now it's
Right.
been so long.
Now it's
Now it's been so long. I just show up and be like, I see your flag's down. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? It's been down for months. All right.
Did you do it? No. Ours.
No, ours was down too. It's crazy.
It's like the guy who commits the murder that shows up on the scene going, "Yeah, I just want to know what's going on."
So no, to follow up.
I'm sorry.
Now I feel like I have to be ready the next time you ask, and it has to be yes. And we had to have hung out at some point.
Sure. I'll wait a couple months. We'll find out.
Oh gosh. Okay.
There's a clock on it.
I know,
We're starting now.
Oh gosh.
There is also a need for another update, and I asked Steph to fill us in on this, and she has yet to, as of this record, send me video because she's having a good time with her son in Idaho. And so I don't know if we'll get a video for this. If we do, I will insert it.
Hi, cultist. This is your Lady of Libations coming to you from some sort of gorge in Mountain Home, Idaho, where I'm out visiting my son. Sorry I couldn't be at the cult meeting. I just wanted to tell you about the Tamagotchi situation. I supposedly, I guess, I'm the first one to have lost their Tamagotchi. He was a pain in my ass from the very beginning, so I'm not really sad about it. He needed constant attention from day one. Everywhere I went, he would beep and need to be played with, need to be fed, whatever. I think my mistake is that I got myself a Gen 1 and everyone else got these cool new Tamagotchis that you barely have to mess with, so yeah, I'm a little salty about that. Let's see. Took him to a con. I had to constantly feed him, play with him. Scotty barely had to touch his. Everything, I was doing everything in my power to keep this damn thing alive. And I think day 17, I had to take my mom to a doctor's appointment and left him alone for 1 hour, and the damn thing died. So, you know, what can I do? Glad it's over. Never again. I'm much better taking care of cats than I am Tamagotchis, I guess. So anyway, I will see you guys back in Mobile for the next cult meeting. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
If not, I would like to get a Tamagotchi update.
Yep.
I let mine die.
Yeah.
Discover its life. Are we doing it?
Are we doing what?
Are we talking about them?
Sure. I was.
Oh no, I sacrificed mine. So work is very busy, and I'm the producer at a video production agency, and I was in Huntsville last week, and I had multiple things I was trying to get done on a set out of town, while also making sure things were getting done in town with different shoots and projects we have going on. And it was on my mind, and it just got to a point where it was like, I just cannot have you there anymore. And so I just left it in the car for over 24 hours. I kept checking it after like all day, and it was just dusty. And I cleaned it, and it was fine again. I was like, will you just die? So I just left it in the car, in my bag, for over 24 hours. I was like, I'm sorry. You have to go.
Stephanie's.
Those ones are harder.
Was the first to die.
Those ones are harder.
Steph did everything she could to keep it alive.
Here's what I'm curious about, though.
But hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
But Special Fred was just too special to live with us. And so he moved on to the great Tamagotchi beyond.
So with the original one that she had, if it gets over a certain weight, it can die.
Oh,
it can just randomly die. So to make it happy, you either play a game with it that you have to win to get the heart.
Right.
So if you lose the game, you have to play it again.
Right.
And then you have to do it to fill all 4 hearts.
Right.
Okay. So you can do that, or you can just give it a snack, because it makes it. The snack is for happy. The food is for hunger.
Right.
So you could just feed it food and feed it a snack, and it will be happy, and it would be full of hunger. Like it would have lots of hearts. I know this because when I was doing it, because I had the original one and I made it 13 or 14 days. I can't remember anymore. And Jennifer checked it one day and was like, why is your Tamagotchi 91 ounces? And apparently, if it gets over 80, it could suddenly die. So mine was 91.
So I had to put him on a workout
like
routine.
she asked that, and I was like, I don't know. And she's like, do you play the game? I was like, no, it's stupid and I hate it because you can lose, and it's just which way is it gonna turn? It's not cool like our games were. Okay,
No,
we had like legit games.
Yeah.
This one was like it sits there, and then you choose if it's gonna go left or right, and then it goes. And if you picked that way, it has a sun and it's happy. If not, it goes and it's angry.
Right.
There's no like. I'm sure if you paid attention to it long enough, there are patterns it follows.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I just would hit the left button every time.
And just
50-50 chance.
Yeah.
I would just keep going. It's fine if I lost. I'll just keep going. But I was just giving it snacks because I hated playing the game. And until she
No
was
one
like,
91 ounces.
why is your Tamagotchi 91 ounces? I was like, is that bad? And so she looked it up and was like, it should have died already. So I had to put it on like a very strict, but it was interesting because you feed it, you could see its ounces go up, and then you play a game and it loses 2, and you're like, well done, buddy. Let's go again. So I'm wondering if her Tamagotchi was hefty.
Just hefty.
I wonder if that's what it was.
Caleb will show that his is still alive.
Yeah.
I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard it.
So I have a routine with mine.
Oh, gosh.
So
This is why you'll never win.
my routine is actually, I've discovered how easy it is to keep R2 alive.
Those are so easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So easy.
annoying.
So I could leave R2 for a couple hours without paying attention, but the routine I have come to is like every hour he does a little cutscene thing of like, here's what R2 sees according to the manual.
Yep.
And so on that hour, that's when I do the routine of, okay, I'm going to feed him, I'm going to clean him, and then I play one game with him. Usually it's whatever brand new game if it's the new game. If not, I just do the fire game because the fire game is easy because I can just tap it real quick because it's the tap out game. And I can hold the egg in a certain way where I can just tap it real fast. And that's my routine is every hour. That's when I actually take care of them.
See, mine was like every 4 or 5 hours.
I could probably restrict it to that.
They don't
But
die.
no.
I had to leave. So mine, I should say, doesn't die because it's Toy Story. It gets put in a box and it goes to a yard sale.
R2 doesn't die either. R2 just breaks down and is carried away by Jawas.
Yeah.
Oh, mine was in a box that said 25 cents, and I was like, about time.
So I was fearful last Saturday because I was going to bring R2 with me, and I left him at the house. And I was
He'd be fine.
And so when I got home, I was expecting to see
Jawas.
and then nope, he's just dirty. And so
They don't ever die.
I fed him and cleaned him, and everything was good. And then you told me you let yours die, and I was like, suddenly I felt this relief over me.
I'm so stubborn. I just choked on a little bit. I'm so stubborn and competitive that I refused for so long, and my brain needed that space back.
So I just need some validation.
Yeah, do it.
I just need some validation
Okay.
from you
Okay.
specifically.
Right.
Because when we started this, I believe you said that Scotty's would die first.
No, you did well.
So
I think there was arguments that mine would die first too.
but she looked at me. Well, Scotty's is going to. I mean, and then Stephanie says, "Well, I wouldn't have him watch my children," which I'm like,
We all
hurtful?
need to do the original one though, because that one is harder. Like if it has no hearts, it will just die.
Sure.
Or if it's
Yeah.
overweight, it will just die. Whereas these, you just dust it off.
yeah,
and it's
I
fine.
mean, yeah.
Next Christmas you can get us the original ones. However, that being said,
Yes.
When you said that yours had died, Steph's died first. Yours, and you had let yours go.
The stubbornness in me when she said it died, I was like, "Cool, we're done."
And so I had the same feeling after you said yours, but I couldn't let the dude just die. I just couldn't
It's hard.
I couldn't let because he's not
He's
real,
our
but
child now.
I've kind of grown attached to him because he was alive for like a month.
It was a long.
We did it for a month.
Long.
It's a month.
time. It was
And,
so long.
Like and you know, I was like, well, after 3 days, I was like, well, I'm better than a 9-year-old, and
A month.
That would be my 90.
I mean, a month.
and I was
a
like,
month is- yeah.
I'm on top of the world. And then Steph's died. I was like, I'm safe. But then I was like, oh, I'll keep going. Then you let your. So this is what I did.
Oh gosh.
Or
I took my little guy.
Oh, did you let him look at the sunset?
I let him look at the sunset. We watched We played his favorite games. I fed him his favorite food. I gave him one final bath. And then I opened that mother chicken in the back.
That's what you did.
Took out the batteries and just disconnected him.
So as far as you know, he didn't die. He's just sleeping.
He's just in the Matrix.
Yours is a robot. I feel like that's accurate.
So that's
You
what I
just put
did.
those batteries
so
back
yours
in.
is the winner. You survived it. So
But I feel bad though because this partially feels like a by default win.
I mean, it is.
However, I will take second place, and I also will take the fact that mine didn't die first. I feel vindicated. I'm a good father.
I mean, you basically admitted to murdering your child.
But he did it in the most humane way for
Right.
a robot.
Right, I did. I had compassion for the robot.
What was his special game at the time?
Because I played a freaking month, and I guess the Toy Story one does this too, but it resets after so many days.
I think it's 3 days for
Yeah,
R2.
it's 3 days for R2.
And mine will become a different character.
and would become a different character
Yeah.
and do it. And ours would have a difference. So I saw them all
Yeah.
and played them all.
Yeah.
And
I had the same 3 games the whole time. The games didn't change.
so the games changed for us. So we get the first 2 the same, and then depending on his form, the third game would be different.
Okay.
And so
That makes sense.
when he last died, he had the grappler arm, and so I had the lightsaber catch.
Oh, okay.
And no, he had not the grappler arm, but the popper, the lightsaber.
I know what
head.
you're talking about. Yeah, the
The
lightsaber
grappler arm
popper.
was the Yoda one. I
Yeah.
only got that once.
Yo.
The one I got the most was the extended head one, where you have to
with
catch the letters.
Yep.
I got that like 3 times during the course of the month.
I think the one I got most is the Yoda grappler, and then second most would be the letters.
Which one you got now?
I currently have the letters.
Yeah, but I got every one of the forms because there's 2 X-wings that look different.
Yeah.
But I've got every one of them. So
I don't think I've had both X-wings. I've had one of them.
yeah, one of them's Luke's and one of them's Poe's.
So I've had the one that I guess they're both the same minigame though, or are they different minigames?
One's asteroids, one's TIE fighters.
Oh, well, I played both minigames, but it was like during one X-wing form.
I don't know, but because and the only difference in the X-wing form is that the engines are colored in for Poe's and they're not colored in for Luke's.
Okay.
That's all it is.
The one I got the least was Buzz. Yeah, I got him the least.
But you know, I thought it was fair. He had a good life. He played all his forms multiple times. It was his time to.
And it was relieving.
It was
Yeah.
really God. It was.
And
so
you can only
relieving.
see General Grievous so many times.
Jesus, right? Well, the first time I seen it, I was like, "Am I losing?"
That's what that's why
There's
I
no
messaged-
warning.
Well, that's why in our messenger group, I was like, "Hey, what's going on when I see this?" And you were like, "Oh, well, if you see the Jawas, that means he's dying." And it's like, I look in I go to the instruction manual. I'm like, "Oh, I'm just seeing stuff every hour."
The first week I had because I took him to work with me because I'm a good father, and
take your child to work day.
every day was to. And then the best part was the first day at work, and I was like, "Okay, guys, I'm caring for a Tamagotchi, and that's just what's going to happen. I'm just going to like."
Did either of you turn the sound off?
No.
Yes,
Okay, because I did.
that turned the sound off. Like
Because it's fine. You just dust it off. It's fine.
Yeah.
right. He's mine was mostly mute.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's never been mute. But I also, when I go to the movies, I leave them in the car and then I come back after.
Oh, you don't take him to the movies with you?
No.
That's rude AF.
He was in the movies. He was at the movies when we and Steph saw D&D.
Did she have hers at that time too?
Special Fred had died by then.
Yeah.
Oh, Special Fred.
Special Fred had gone off to the great beyond.
Okay.
So yeah, so
There's the Tamagotchi story.
that's the Tamagotchi.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
That was fun.
Welcome to April.
You've been busy for an understand. You've been able to watch anything?
Hold on. I want to say yes. I was like, we just watched a movie, but it was that movie.
Next week's movie, which one? We'll tell you what it is in a little bit.
We watched another one though, and I can't. Not really. I have been very busy.
Sure.
Like I see messages. It's not just you guys. I'm actually really bad at messaging even my wife back. Like it'll pop up and I'll see it, and then I'll just like 3 hours will go by and I'll pop it back up and be like, crap.
You're just working hard.
And she's like, do you want anything from the store? And then 3 hours later, because I saw it, she knows I saw it, and then I'm like, sorry, because I'm just busy.
Yeah.
It's just busy. It's good busy. It's just new busy. It's busy.
I know Caleb's been enjoying his AMC Movie Pass thing.
Yeah, I gotta update it, but this past weekend saw Renfield. I need to update it so I can see Evil Dead this weekend.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rises.
Yeah, which is so confusing the way they're marketing it, because, like, I cannot get a clarification on... Like, I've read what the clarification is on it, but, like, it took forever for me to find, is this a sequel? Is this a reboot? Because the advertising does not tell you. I found out it's a sequel to the original 3, and they're ignoring the remake, even though they wanted to do a crossover with the remake at one point. But...
See, that's all complicated.
Well, yeah, because there's the original 3, which even then is complicated, because Army of Darkness...
You ever
is
seen
owned
Evil
by-
Dead?
I thought you made me watch it.
No, we've never done Evil
No,
Dead.
Then
we should.
I'm not a fan.
No. It sounds really
I
familiar,
do want to.
though.
I want to do Army of Darkness.
Army
with,
of Darkness would be a great one.
I want to do Army of Darkness with Drew. It's one of Drew's favorite movies, and it's the only one I can kind of tolerate.
Well,
Does
it's the
Josh
one
like
that,
Army of Darkness?
Huh?
Or Evil Dead?
Yeah, he probably
Because those both sound very familiar.
It's about a guy with a chainsaw hand killing.
Oh, yeah. Is that Evil
Yeah.
Dead?
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
we found one.
I like how she's proud.
I get so happy when I've seen things. Like, I think I've seen more than I realize, but I'm terrible at titles, names,
Sure.
people, places. But
I'm
I've seen
proud
it.
for you.
Thank you.
I've seen the first
been a
3. I
while.
didn't see the remake. I saw some of the show, but only which was only fair because I only saw parts of the show because I was doing research from Pensacon because I was interviewing one of the actresses,
Oh, okay.
and it was my first Pensacon.
Doesn't one of those have like a shotgun leg?
That's Grindhouse.
That's Grindhouse, that's specifically Planet Terror.
by Robert Rodriguez.
Yep.
I like Robert Rodriguez.
And it's not a shotgun one; it's more of a machine gun.
Yeah, it's
So she has like a gun
Yeah,
leg.
It's an
gun
M60 with like a grenade launcher under
yeah.
it.
That's dangerous.
Which that was connected to one of the least Quentin Tarantino's least liked film of his own, but I like it. Death Proof.
Death Proof's not good either.
I like Death Proof.
You like everything. You're like Mikey.
No.
from the-
I don't like next. I don't like next.
His parents are in the audience and they're nodding very happily.
Hold on.
Because you've raised him well. You've raised him well. What was the one thing you don't like?
Next week's film that we talk about.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
No, I take it back.
except for 85
all right.
million people.
No. When we came in, he's like, I thought it was funny. So he didn't dislike it.
Our guest talked him out of it.
Yeah.
Our guest he is a curmudgeon. He tends to do that.
He's my favorite.
I know he's your favorite. That's
He
why I
makes me
invited
so
him.
happy.
I invited him.
It makes me like when I see him, I'm just like, I'll be so respectful. You hear no curse words. I do not have a potty mouth.
And Steph's not here
Won't
Yeah,
you be my
Steph's not
neighbor?
here.
to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Steph
He
doesn't.
cursed more than I did. I was so proud of that. I was like, oh, you said damn again. That was twice.
We were proud of him.
We were proud of him.
I have not watched a lot either.
You and Keys aren't watching stuff?
Okay, so Kisa is a accountant, and tax season's very busy for her.
Yeah.
And so she's been busy doing taxes. So I haven't really. I mean, I talked to her, but I haven't really we haven't sat down and watched anything.
So after this next week.
After soon as taxes is over, I think we'll watch some stuff. We watched some TV stuff in the evenings, but nothing like no movies. She's a real big fan of Stargate SG-1, and they're trying to get me on it, so I'm watching it, and I'm not. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do a rewatch of this.
What about Atlantis afterwards?
I don't know. I think we're going to do them all, I guess, because I love Kisa and Kisa likes this, so this is what we do. So
I need to watch.
But I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the last. We're in first season. The last one I watched was MacGyver getting old. And I'll talk about it. So there's an episode. Okay, so there's an episode. Okay, you know what Stargate is?
Star Trek?
No,
Stargate.
Something.
Stargate.
I would assume it's Star Trek.
All right, so
is what I'm saying.
Stargate. All right, real quick. Stargate is a movies and a TV show afterwards.
Okay.
But it's about this
Stars.
portal that takes you to other planets. And
So was it made around the same time as Star Wars and Star Trek? Did they all like the word
it's
Star?
like 15 years later.
yeah,
It's this was like in the 90s.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is 90s.
carry on.
And so they made a TV show after the movie, like 6 years later. Or not even that far, 3 years later. And
Yeah, because I think it's like 90,
in the movie, they go to one planet and do one thing. The show's every week we'll go to a different planet.
Kind of like Firefly?
Kind of like Firefly.
Yeah.
but they just instead of a ship, they just walk through this gate and they're at another.
Well,
planet.
that's dangerous.
And so
Let me just take a walk.
right, it's like that. It's like that. They go anyway,
This is like Lord of the Rings in space.
sort of.
They just walk. Okay,
they just walk.
I'm following.
I got it. All right.
All right.
So in this particular episode, our heroes are at this one place with all these beautiful Greek-looking people, and the main guy has relations with one of them, and
It's naughty.
you find out that they only live like 100 days. A day's a year to them.
I've heard about this from somewhere. Keep going.
And so the main character gets infected with whatever makes, and so he's aging faster.
Oh wow, that's sad.
Right. And so, but here's my point about this. There's a trope in movies when they do, like, especially science fiction movies, where they do that age progression stuff.
Right.
They put the actor in makeup. The actor just becomes more Southern or more like a old-timey prospector in his old age.
So his old person voice is just Western.
Right. Just like, oh,
I'm aging.
you whippersnappers, and just, oh, golly gee
Give me back my
willikers.
gold nuggets.
Go, watch out, the mine train is out. Oh, no. And so,
That's how I sound too.
and this is what he does, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And like, and I go, is that what happens when we age? We just become more Western.
It makes you want to go to a nursing home, doesn't it?
No,
And just like ask people questions to be like, what level of Western are you at?
I'm level 42.
All right, Buckeye.
I'll enjoy sarsaparilla and shooting my guns.
Don't we all?
I don't remember my children's faces, but I do like wrestling cows.
She's Louise. Accurate. So that's her show.
That's her show. That was just that one episode of the show, but that's her show. She
So I would like to know what level of Western she is.
well, Kisa, what level Western are you?
Yes.
I mean, she is
1 to 100.
she's South Korean by way of Hawaii, so I don't think that she's a. I mean for
We
going-
all become Western
Yeah, we
when
all
we
become
age.
Western.
We all
I mean,
become Western.
if you really want to be fair,
To be fair.
I
To
mean,
be fair.
I mean, California, Hawaii's just West California. And
So she's Western.
Yeah,
So she's more West than any of us.
right. She's the most West we could all be in this country.
I'm a little surprised they don't have more Western Hawaiians. Or do they just call them Hawaiians?
They may just do that.
But you have to Hawaiians.
Yeah.
So we've been watching that. I watched what else? I watched next week's movie. You'll hear my thoughts on that.
Next week.
Next week. I watched HBO Max, which is becoming Max.
Yeah.
It's becoming just Max?
Yeah.
it's becoming Warner
Why?
Brothers.
Because David Zaslav does not know how to run Warner Brothers.
No, he doesn't. And so, but we're getting a Harry Potter TV show out of it.
I
That's what I want to talk about.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know.
Where they want to keep a lot of the same stuff because they're keeping the logo exactly the same because they're not changing Hogwarts at all. Because
No.
they're like, we already built Hogwarts.
Yeah,
at our
well, we
park."
have it.
Well,
They destroyed it in the last one.
no, what I'm saying is though at the park. So
Oh.
you know how they have
Oh.
you know how they have the Hogwarts logo as the logo
They're
for
keeping it consistent so they can continue to market.
Branding.
and-
Branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Branding.
smart. It's smart.
It's smart, but also like if you're doing a remake and you're claiming that you want to be closer to the book, honestly, the one that we have in the films is not book accurate entirely.
Yes,
But-
it is. It is, though, but it only follows Harry. So you lose part of the story, but because the books are so in-depth that if you go back,
Yeah.
it only follows Harry. So you miss, like, Spew with Hermione. You miss a lot of the twins.
Yeah.
So you miss a lot of the side
There's
stuff.
twins.
Well, I meant Hogwarts as in the way it looks. Like
Oh,
the,
I see, like the description
castle,
of it.
the castle
I'm
itself.
so sorry. I thought you were talking about the storyline.
No,
I was
no,
like,
the castle itself.
buddy, we about to throw down.
The castle itself. I'm talking about the castle.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
This is what Justina feels
I feel like
Also, in terms of Spew, do we really want a retelling of that, considering how that storyline goes, where it's like, yes, slavery is fine.
I feel like it's important for progression of certain characters throughout the film.
They have house elves. Of course slavery's fine.
Like literally the whole point is that they laugh at Hermione for trying to get rid of slavery.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it also changes the arc of Dobby. And then you also get those additional elves and you learn about the magic of the castle and how it happens. Because I don't think it's more ignorance. You learn about ignorance because people just assume all this magic happens, but it's not magic. It's
not.
The elves.
It's the elves, yeah.
And they don't know that until she brings attention to it. So it opens people's eyes. So yes, I think it's important. But I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that you do miss simply because there's so much they just focused on Harry.
Yeah. Also, if we want to get into the deep weeds of it all, the only reason they're remaking it is so that way J.K. Rowling can have a version of Harry Potter without the actors that have talked out against her.
Oh, that's not true.
That's absolutely true.
That's not true.
Because they wanted to make Cursed Child, and guess who said no to being in Cursed Child?
They don't. That's not true at all. That's not even close to true. You know why they wouldn't do it?
Because they can
Well,
make more
money.
money.
Thank
off of
you.
it.
But they can't make money off of like sequels with.
Because the original people won't come back because she hates everybody.
Because and who wants to watch Grown Up Harry? What are they
Well,
gonna
that's
do?
what Cursed Child is literally all.
And it's okay. What are they gonna do?
I want to watch Grown Up Harry. He's a pretty man.
He's
See,
a pretty man.
yeah.
He's a pretty man.
Pretty man.
He does a great job though. He is. I need to see Weird Al.
And I think
I have not seen it yet because it's on Apple TV.
No, it's not.
And
It's on Roku.
it's on Roku.
I don't have that either.
And it's gonna.
I thought it was on Apple TV.
And Roku's
though.
free. So
yeah,
you can
Roku's
sign
free.
You can sign up for Roku.
I don't have to have like a remote for it. I
No.
thought you had to have a special remote for it. Okay,
Roku's
well,
a service.
I'm gonna
It's
watch that
moving
tonight.
to something else too. So
Yeah.
Because I want to watch that so bad, and I heard it was delightful.
it is delightful.
Yeah, it's And
It's very funny, especially like I'm a diehard Weird Al fan, like old school diehard.
And it did well.
Oh yeah,
Good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's, yes, there's Al did a movie about his life, a fake documentary about his life in the mid '80s. I think after the second or third album, called The Complete Al, and it was a combo of like some of the videos he had at the time, and just kind of like a behind the scenes of what his life was like. That was totally fantastical. Nothing's real in it.
And I think
And-
this new one, we haven't had a biopic like a biopic comedy similar to this new one in a while. Like the last one is Walk Hard, Dewey Cox story, because that's a really good.
Which is also funny.
Yeah,
Wrong kid died.
wrong kid died.
Wrong. You ever seen that one?
No,
Walk Hard.
no.
It's basically a spoof of all like classic biopics,
It's
specifically musicians.
A lot of
Have
It's the Johnny Cash one.
yeah, it's Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. There's a lot of Walk the Line in this movie.
But yeah, and they make fun of all the trends that every musician biopic has, which is like them going down drugs.
Right. The best stuff in the drug stuff is like Dewey walks in on
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows doing drugs, and he's like, "Well, what do you got there? It's weed. Well, I don't want to get high. You know, I don't want to feel drunk. It doesn't make you feel drunk. Well, I don't want to have. No, it's the best stuff ever. You don't want any of.
You don't want any of this. I want that.
Oh, it's so funny. I think I'm gonna try some of your cocaine. I want to go back home and watch that. That's a solid movie. That's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite bits in the deleted scenes, though, he marries because the character's named Dewey Cox, C-O-X,
Okay.
and in the movie he marries the actress Cheryl Tiegs, and so she becomes Cheryl Cox Tiegs, and I die every time I hear that because
Why
I'm
Cox Teagues and not Teagues Cock?
Either way works. Yeah. But
well, cock tease is a very funny
Yeah.
word,
I know.
and my 10-year-old self just giggles. Wrong kid died. That movie's great.
God, and then when he confronts his dad.
Oh yeah, just the Beatles part is really good.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, underrated film, underrated, and it's John C. Reilly, and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like John C. Reilly at the peak of John C. Reilly.
Well,
I don't know who
that
that
was his like.
He's
of his
Will
early-
seen Talladega Nights.
I have.
Will Ferrell's best friend.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's John C. Reilly.
Okay.
Who's in a lot of films.
That was like
Yes.
his first like lead part, I think.
one of his favorite. Yeah, earlier.
And they won an award for the song.
So I and he's a good singer. He's Mr. Cellophane in Chicago.
Yeah. And he's that one member of Nova Corps in Guardians.
Yep, he's in Guardians. Oh, speaking of Marvel movies, did you see your Marvels trailer?
The one you sent me?
Yeah.
No. I saw it again and then was like, oh, I need to watch that. And then
I know you're a big Captain Marvel fan.
I couldn't tell what it was at first. And then I was like, oh, that's Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's you're getting a new Captain Marvel movie, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
There's multiple ladies.
Well, yeah, because they're introducing Monica Rambeau, who they set up in WandaVision.
Yeah, who's in WandaVision.
And then they're setting up more
Kamala
of Miss
Khan.
Marvel's Kamala Khan.
So apparently if they use their powers, they switch places, no matter where they are in the universe.
So this will be interesting.
It's going to be real interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you the trailer afterwards, but
Okay.
It looks funny. And so it looks real fun. I'm excited. That was November.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, because the next one is Guardians.
Yeah, the next one
Volume 3.
looks Guardians, and looks like it's going to be sad.
Yeah, because we know from James Gunn, he said this is the last one with this particular Guardians
Right,
team.
and I know Batista's been trying to get out of it.
Yeah,
so
Batista says he's done.
So I guess they're going to kill him off.
And I think Gunn's going to be busy with DC
well,
after
yeah,
this.
he's done with Marvel. He's going to be heading.
I think if Marvel
Release a
pays
movie.
them enough, he'll come back.
All comes down to money. That's true.
But I think for the most part, he'll be busy.
Oh, I did watch. Speaking of Dave Batista, I watched M. Night Shyamalan's new movie,
I've heard good things.
Knock at the Cabin.
I've heard good
I don't know
things.
if I can watch that.
It is wonderful.
The premise of what it is, though, seems like it's really hard to watch.
It is.
And it's a gay couple.
Right. So the premise of the movie is a gay couple and their daughter are on vacation in a nice cabin doing nice cabin things, and 4 people invade the cabin, and they are
One of them's the one from Guardians of the Galaxy.
one of them's Dave Bautista, who's
That's his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
the-
like him. He's great.
the other one is Ron Weasley.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Weasley?
Yeah, Ron
Yeah.
Weasley.
Ron Weasley. I didn't
Rupert-
realize he
Rupert
was
gets
in
in it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You want me to
he's
pull it
very
up real quick?
he's very choosy on his films.
And he's also unlike Ron. He plays a bigot from Boston. But the 4 of them have come and to tell the 3 that the couple and the child that they have to sacrifice one of them or the apocalypse will happen, and it's fascinating. And I will say, I loved it. It's on Peacock.
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Has King George.
Oh yeah, King
Oh,
George.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, King George.
King George the Third. Yeah, it's a great cast.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I will say though, Dave Bautista is fantastic in it.
I'm sorry. Is King George one of the gay couple?
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, you're gonna see it now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got people I like.
And it's really good. It's really good.
What did you watch it on?
Peacock.
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 Okay.
Yeah, it's on Peacock.
Yep.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah, you should. Let me know how you feel about it. It's
It's based on a book.
yeah, and the book.
Yeah, that's been a
Josh
trend.
was telling me about the book. He said the book is a little bit more ambiguous about how everything goes. The movie's pretty straightforward because it's a movie. It tells you how. So there's a little bit loose interpretation in the. So I'm really curious.
That's
about
been a
it.
trend for M. Night Shyamalan lately, though, is adapting other material.
Right.
'Cause
And
that's
Old-
what he did with Old.
And Old's not great. This is like what I like about that. There's not really like a twist. It's just
Yeah.
it's a really
It's
good
just a story.
a straight movie, and he's
There was something else of his I watched recently that didn't have the twist like I expected.
Right.
What are his other newer ones outside of Old?
I got it.
Thank you.
It's been a while since I've seen anything of his.
No, I watched something and I was disappointed because I expected it to go a certain way and
Right.
it didn't.
I was kind of expecting something to go left field, and it didn't.
Let's
Which
see.
I wasn't disappointed. I was happy for it.
I mean, I don't think Glass probably had a twist, but that's at that point you've watched the trilogy of other films.
I didn't like Glass either.
Which Glass was the weaker of the trilogy.
I like Split.
Yeah.
Um,
Unbreakable is one of my favorites of his films.
I've said this before. My problem with Unbreakable is I'm really pro Unbreakable until the last act, and then it really just ends like a Lifetime movie, and it just drains all the life out of me.
I
'Cause
do
it's-
kind of don't like that it goes like the text.
Yeah, the movie
ending.
just ends in a freeze frame and gives you text, and this is what happened to him. I'm like, I'm not watching a Lifetime movie. This is not television. That's
Interesting.
lazy.
After Earth has to be one of his worst films.
Avatar is probably his worst.
Yeah, Last Airbender is his worst. Yeah. Let's see. The Visit had a twist because that was the one with the grandparents.
God, The Visit is horrifying
Uh,
and disgusting.
it's a good retelling though of Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah. Devil. Oh, that's an awful one.
What is it?
Devil.
The elevator one?
The elevator one. He
Trapped
didn't
in an
direct
elevator.
that one, though. He wrote and produced it. The Happening has a kind of twist.
I like The Happening. I'm a defender of The Happening.
Happening's all right.
It's
The
there's
Happening was not one of my favorites.
so real quick on The Happening. I don't think I refuse. This is why I like it. I refuse to believe that M. Night Shyamalan is that bad of a filmmaker. I also don't believe that he phoned anything in. I believe everything in that movie is done on purpose, and it gives
So
us
so you're for it's supposed to be satirical.
right. It's this weird art, like Marky
I
Mark.
hated the acting. The acting
Right,
was
but
so terrible.
No, it's not even terrible. It's flat.
It's so bad. Like I've seen him in things where he does well, and in
Right.
that it's like, what are you doing?
But it's like there's no way that he just does this. It's directed that way. It's like the life is drained out of it. And it makes it. If you watch it with especially the color schemes all gray and stuff, it just seems like it. And then it brightens up at the end, and it's just there. I liked it. I liked it. It's a dumb premise, but man, it's a. It's not. It's not like my top favorite 100 movies, but I love talking about it.
Yeah.
It's
Continuing to go backwards, Lady in the Water, that's one of the weaker films, I
Oh,
think.
man,
I swear it was
that
a
one-
newer one.
Which is a terrible Paul
I didn't fin-
Giamatti performance, which sucks because he's great.
I didn't finish it because the guy who's working out his one arm.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, nope, not out. I'm just done.
The Village is actually, I actually don't mind the twist on that one.
I like the twist on the Village, because I guessed it about 15 minutes into the movie, and usually that makes people mad. But I was like, I got an A on a test.
Yeah.
I knew the answer.
Signs is all right.
Oh, I love Signs. Swing away.
He didn't direct it, but he did write Stuart Little.
He did.
Which I grew up liking Stuart Little.
I did not watch it because I was an adult when
Yeah.
it came out.
Yeah.
And I had no children.
The Sixth Sense is, of course, his classic.
Yeah, Sixth Sense.
I mean, that one I watched it after already knowing the twist, but it's one of those things where I think Sixth Sense is so strong for him because it's one of those where even if you know the twist, you can watch it and look for the signs that you didn't see before.
I will admit, when we saw it in the theaters, we didn't know what was happening, and then afterwards, me and my ex-wife, who were dating at the time, left the theater, bought tickets to see it again immediately, so we could catch what we missed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that often, but that was
because
that
that's
was
a
fun to
great
do.
one. Because like, especially watching the scenes with his wife, Bruce Willis's character's wife, and you're like, oh, with the new context, that makes sense.
I think it was old. Like looking through 'em, I
Okay.
think it was old
So
that got
yeah,
me.
old kind
On
of
the island
like,
with
Because it
the-
had like a deeper
like it
sort
has
of
a twist, but not really.
like it had like almost like a deeper sort of message, and it like I expected it to do something drastic,
Yeah.
and it didn't. To me, I think that was the one because I've seen
Okay.
old.
I liked M. Night's cameo in Knock at the Cabin.
Oh yeah.
It's
Is he a
sometimes
pizza delivery boy?
no. Sometimes he's like in the movie,
He likes to play like cameo roles.
and sometimes he's just kind of in the background or something. But he's got like better screen time than like Hitchcock did, and when Hitchcock did it, because it's a total like nod to Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And so I like the way they did it this time because it's not like overt in your face. It was fun, but I really thoroughly enjoyed Knocked at the
So
Cabin.
looking at the rest of his filmography, I did not expect that he did rewrites for She's All That.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did not expect that because that's not the type of movie I expect from him.
He needs a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean it's a good film. I just don't. It's not the genre.
Well, like Carrie Fisher was, fine actress as she was, she's more famous for being a script doctor. She fixed so many scripts, and she would just go in and be like, "Oh, all this is wrong. Let's just," or the studio's like, "This is not working," and send it to Carrie, and she'd go fix it.
Yeah.
And she gets uncredited work, but she gets paid a lot. So,
Well,
but I think that's the last like new thing I saw outside of
Yeah.
last week's
as far
movie.
as old things, I rewatched because the new one's coming out. I started my rewatch of the Indiana Jones series. I'm doing
I'm sorry,
chronological, so I
there's
started.
another one.
Yeah,
coming
the
out?
Dial of Destiny coming
Yeah.
out in June.
I'm starting chronological, so that means I started with Temple of Doom, which is my favorite.
Is that the one that everybody hated?
No, that's Crystal Skull.
Okay.
Yeah. Temple of Doom, I just. It's
Chronolo-
fantastical. It's more fantastical than the other ones, but
And Shia is terrible in it.
Oh yeah, Crystal Skull is
Shia's terrible in it.
yeah.
But it has my favorite
Le Bouffe.
my favorite monster death scene in it though.
Yeah.
I love the ants eating the communists. I mentioned that in the last cult meeting.
I
but-
honestly don't mind I don't mind the artifact in Crystal Skull as much as other people do.
Yeah, it's fine. I liked it when I saw it, but as it grew on me, it was like it gets dumber and dumber.
Yeah. But, like, in a world where, with all the mystical stuff that they have in Indiana Jones, is Aliens that far of a reach?
Well, I think Indiana Jones works best when it crosses with, like,
More religious,
Christian Judeo stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, the Ark or the Holy Grail. The Chakra Stones in 2's fun, but I don't think it's nearly as strong as the other two.
Okay.
It's
my personal
fun.
favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. It's it's got a little kid in it. It's great. And there's a minecart chase. It's
Is it Donkey Kong?
almost,
yeah.
And Duncan's very much inspired by that.
It should honestly, it's one of those situations where it's like, man, George made that deal with Disney to make some Indiana Jones stuff. They really missed out on making a ride based on that.
Yeah, absolutely, but they already had the minecart.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, you've got
To rebrand it.
Yeah, you got Thunder Mountain.
Well, there's a minecart. There's a minecart rate thing too at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
But there's it's called Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and it happens in the 60s.
Okay.
So Harrison Ford's very old because he is.
Yeah, they
And-
want
Like
to
in
keep
the
Harrison.
2060 or 1960?
1960 because the Indiana Jones movies happened like in the 30s.
Yeah, because
Oh.
most of them focus on that war.
Nazis.
Got you.
Yeah, he fights Nazis in 2 of them. Actually, I guess now he fights Nazis in 3 of the 5.
Yeah, because technically now
Nazis are the bad guys in this one.
Yeah, played by Mads Mikkelsen.
Who's awesome. But yeah, there's new Indiana Jones coming. We watched the trailer the last Cult meeting.
Yeah, and on my podcast too. As well. Yeah.
I had fun guesting on your podcast.
Yeah, that
the
was a
week.
great episode.
I got to be a guest because they just had Star Wars Celebration a couple weeks ago, and all the new Star Wars stuff come out. So I got to be on Caleb's show. And we got to talk about it.
Look at you.
And you got to make a new friend too
I
out
made
of
a
one
new
of my
friend.
guests.
I had one of hers. She was very lovely.
She also likes Star Wars, or do you bring on people that don't know anything?
I bring
about
on I bring on other Star Wars content creators that I've made friends with through TikTok and YouTube space.
You have to be careful. That's how you find bad people on the internet.
Yeah, I shouldn't talk to strangers on the internet.
You should not.
I shouldn't open up my AIM account and
Listen, okay, just take the AOL CD and put it down slowly.
but I like hearing the door open. That way
You've got mail.
I wish my computer told me when I have. No, I don't, because I always have mail. It would just go off constantly.
My first AOL experience was AOL 2.0.
I never had an AOL experience. I just collected the CDs when they came in the mail.
And so AOL, when I got onto it, was free for the first 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah, it was free
Wow.
free for the first 3 days, and then it was $3.99 an hour afterwards.
Wow.
I ran up so much money on my dad's Discover card. Until then, I learned about AOL, and AOL was a program that you could hack AOL with when you loaded up a new trial, and it had access to a fake Visa database, and so it would put
That's naughty.
and so yes, it was, and it would put in fake Visa. I guess the statute of limitations are off. I'm outing myself as a cyber criminal.
I think you've talked about this before.
I've talked about this before, but you would, it had a database in it, so it would allow you to be on for 3 days, and so after 3 days it would verify your account.
Okay.
And then it would verify as a false account and it would kick you. And so you just make another one. So I was Scotty White 01, Scotty White 02, Scotty White 03.
Okay. Okay then.
Well,
I hang out with criminals.
but that's where like I created Mop and stuff all on America Online, role playing on America Online chat role play.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you do any of the classic AOL MMOs back in the day?
Well, they weren't MMOs.
There
back
were some.
then.
Yeah, there were some classic ones back then.
We
Is
did-
that where you had the chat rooms with like the pool tables?
Well, because there were some like
MMOs.
old MMOs, like just text.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was all. Yeah, we all did Red Dragon Inn, which was the main one on the main feed. You'd have to go where we went. What you had to do a little work to get to, because it was in a different they created a role playing area, which I thought was smart of them, because I mean it was just billboards,
Mm-hmm.
and among the billboards was a space themed one called Stars Inn Bar, and that's where I hung out mostly.
Okay.
I still got friends to this day. Like, and then, I was down there in '95, and so
AOL was my first email account. I still have that one, but I mostly use Gmail now, like everybody else.
the name of my company, the first name of my company, Stupid Mop Studios, comes from my very first AOL account. I was in high school. I was a senior. My friend Harley Jordan's dad had a AOL account, and we both got names on it. And I was, picking a username is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's naming children.
Right. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost the same thing. That's how much.
Because you're going to have that name forever.
You're going to have that name forever. Like, legally, you're stuck with it, right? I didn't know. This was 95. The internet was new. And so I didn't want to use my real name because no one was using their real names.
Yeah, because you don't trust people on the internet.
Right, you don't trust people on the internet. Even then, I was like, I don't talk to strangers, and then I talk to all the strangers. And so I was like, well, what do I like? And I was trying to think, I don't want to do a Star Wars thing because that's just obvious.
Oh, I did that one.
And so,
Nerd.
You gotta understand, I was 17 and too
Yeah.
cool for school.
Yeah.
And, on my way of becoming a cyber criminal, apparently. And
Didn't even know it.
didn't even know it. And I was like, oh, Pearl Jam. I like Pearl Jam. And I was trying to find Pearl Jam names that would fit. And, of course, nothing fit or nothing was – because usernames were unique. So there was always this name was
one's
always
already
taken. And so on the third Pearl Jam album, Vitology, the last song is called Foxy Mop Handle Mama, That's Me. And I loosely call it a song because it's more of a bizarre music composition. It's not really a song. But on the CD itself, that's too long to put on the CD, so they shorten it to Stupid Mop. And so my very first username was Stupid Mop 2 because someone had already gotten one. And so from then, that's where the Mop name comes from, and then everything became Mop after that.
Interesting.
Yep.
All comes back to Pearl Jam.
It does in my life. Damn right it does. I'm hoping they tour next year because there's a new album coming. And I didn't really like the last album, so I'm hoping hope the pandemic's got them some good writing because the last one was very depressing. Because they're all getting old. It's like, the world's going to end. Let's go sing about that shit. And I'm like,
Oh. Are they slowly sounding more Western
no, they are
or
not.
country?
They are not. They're not. I will say Eddie Vedder sounds deeper and deeper though. The older he gets, he can't hit those high notes like he used to because he's been doing it for 30 years. And so it's just he sings good. He sings well, but it's just they're not as high as they were. So I can go back and listen to the stuff from the 90s and then come back to what he's doing today, and it's like, yeah, I feel you, buddy. I feel you. The other thing I watched was Contact. You ever seen Contact?
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie with Jodie Foster who hears aliens, an alien message, and that tells her to build a spaceship thing, and to
Is
go.
this like God telling Noah to make the ark?
Sort of.
Okay, Carrie.
And so it's a Robert Zemeckis film from '97. And it's got her and Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Absolutely. And I have not seen that movie in a while. And damn it, it's a delight. It is
Well, good.
just a delight. Caleb, you seen it?
No, but I've heard of it.
You will like it.
Yeah. I was just looking at the cast. It's got Angela Bassett, Rob Lowe.
It's loaded. Bill Clinton.
What was he doing? Was
he's
he at
the-
a
I
desk?
He's
He's the president at the time, and so
yeah.
they just use archive footage to make him talk about like the alien message. It's funny.
Fantastic.
It's funny. They just used stuff he was talking about other things and was like,
Does he get credited for that role?
I think he does. I think he also got a check for it.
I feel like if
it's
you're
a
going to
movie-
use the president, you
It's
should
a
probably
movie
give
I think I
check.
want to do on the show, but I don't know how like the ladies will feel about it. It's sci-fi.
The ladies.
You know, it's kind of funny though. We're talking about like a near biblical film, considering the last cult meeting.
Well, we had the biblical
or
film.
not?
The last cult meeting had
Not
the biblical
cult meeting,
film.
but cult movie. Yeah,
The
last movie
oh yeah, the last movie. Yeah, last week's movie.
for our top 5 of
Our-
the box
yeah, so
office.
so Easter was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
And there's a Christian movie company that put out a Christian movie for Easter. And it was called
Jesus.
His only son.
His Only Son.
Close.
And so I was like, well, I played the game of what's it about? And they all got it wrong.
So you didn't tell them it was about Easter or
No,
Christian
no,
company.
no,
You
no.
just said
I
this.
set the same premise up. And I said it's called, His Only Son.
Okay.
And they were like, well, it's about Jesus and it's about this. And I was like, and it turned out it's a story of Abraham and Isaac. Abraham's told by God to sacrifice his only son because God likes that stuff, I guess. And then at the last minute, he's like, "My bad, just testing your faith there, buddy." And if I recall, it's not very long. That whole sequence
it's like 10 verses at most.
At the most, it's like 10 verses. It's like this is a 5-minute movie at best. But because it's a movie, they added peril and stuff for the journey of where he's going to sacrifice him at.
Well, you got to plan it out,
It's
Scotty.
it's a thing.
It's a road trip movie.
Listen, I can have faith in a lot of things, but the one time someone comes up and they're like, all right, pick a kid. I need you to sacrifice them so I can see how well you're doing. I'm like, first of all, this is the mafia. And I didn't sign up for the mafia, nor did I sign up to be a part of this. So I'm going to go.
Well, it's even worse in the case of the Abraham
I really need you to see Knock at the Cabin now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
In the case of Abraham and Isaac, though, it's worse because at the time they thought they could not have another child, and Isaac was his only child. And
That makes it so much better.
Because they were like super old, right?
Yeah.
They're like ancient people.
Yeah. Abraham and Sarah were like already past like usual childbearing ages.
And they were like, this is early like biblical times, so they're probably hundreds of years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Or is it the past? I don't know. The Bible gets complicated. There's a point where
So
like
I feel like if it happened, though, like nowadays, like in today's day and age, okay, and let's say that, because I'm not very religious, but I'm super religious, and then God comes to me and says, I need to know how serious you are. Sacrifice a child. I'll be like, listen, I'll be really good to my neighbors, and I'll respect people, and
I will talk to the lesbian couple down the street.
I will make friends with all the lesbian couples, and I will talk to those that Jesus sacrificed his life for. Like, I'll do all that stuff. That's fine. But we good here. So
good.
Yeah, this is where we draw the line.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I don't know if you're like a vampire where I can just
Well,
take away your invitation.
If it's a vampire, you had to invite them in to begin with.
I was gonna say, can I remove that? Can I be like,
No.
invitation is
No.
now
Once
no
they're-
longer.
Unfortunately, with vampires, once they're in, they're in.
We're going to change the doorknob, and now it's a new house, and you have not been invited into this house. So I'm going to need you to go.
No, just sell it to Derby Wife for $1 and be like, he's a new owner.
We're both on it, though.
Give it to one of the kids then.
I desperately don't want to do that. I
don't
trust none
think-
of them.
Like Penny would not invite them. Callie would be like, come on in.
Callie would literally invite anybody in anywhere and would not care. It would bother her if they did anything, and she would ask them to leave, but she
Yeah.
would bring them in.
Yeah.
I don't think Penny would. You're right.
No. She's too much like her father, who doesn't like people, and the last thing he wants to do is invite anyone in. I'm on a very short list of people he lets in his house.
Yeah, it's not long.
No, it's not. And it's taken me 30 years to get on that list. Staying on that list.
So what are we watching next week?
That's true. We have a special guest. Our special guest is Uncle Henry,
Uncle Henry.
who's not been with us since the last movie we did was Star
Great
Trek,
Uncle Hen.
Star Trek 4, the one with the whales, Voyage Home. And sorry, I was eating a peanut.
Which also came from next week's
Yeah, it's
movie.
fitting for next
Man,
week's movie, yeah.
I forgot how much I like peanuts.
Spoilers.
I like literally forgot how much I like peanuts.
It's like Pringles. You
Like
don't know you want it until you start popping one, and then you're
I
like,
also want to eat all of the
"Aw."
peanuts.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I'm going to leave you the bag that's open.
cool, I'll take them.
'Kay.
And so the movie involves peanuts.
Just going to put some of this stuff in front here so you can't tell what the beverage was.
We're going to watch the Clint Eastwood classic, Every Which Way But Loose from 1978. It's about a man who's a bare knuckles boxer and his buddy who's a monkey.
Feel free to be libated. Have snacks.
That's probably my problem. I wasn't librated and had snacks with
Yeah.
it. But yes, so we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch that, and then I would ask you what do you think it's about, but we've already watched it, so you know what it's about.
I would not have guessed that. The title "Every Which Way But Loose" to me feels like it's a prostitute. It was kind of.
See, Every Which Way But Loose, like, if I had no context, would make me think like it's a Footloose spinoff or something.
No.
Like,
See, I don't think like that. I got real excited, but I don't want to say anymore because I feel like I'll give it away.
yeah, don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
you'll
don't.
watch it
I'll
next
tell you all in a
week.
minute.
Yeah, you'll find out next week.
But it's kind of what I would expect, but I would have gone in a different way, kind of like the Prairie Dogs, and it still would have came full circle.
Would it come full circle?
Yep.
Well, that's it I got for this week.
Alright.
Anything you want to add?
No.
Caleb?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good too. This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.